Okay, is my diagram visible to all the students?
Yes.
Everybody can see the diagram?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fine. So, good morning, all. Good morning, class. Good morning, Rajashri ma'am. Okay,
Yes,
now what you do, students, I guess you are sitting with a notebook and pen. You remember in the last class, I have spoken about circular flow of three sector model, correct? So, we have completed the three sector part, and now I will be starting with four sector model. So, this is the diagram for the four sector model. So, what you do is, as you are sitting with your notebook, so please draw this diagram. First put a caption, first put a heading, circular flow of income in a four sector model, or you can write four sector economy, anyone. Circular flow of income in a four sector model or economy. In a four sector model or economy. Then all the students, please draw this diagram which I am showing you on the screen. Draw this diagram and then I will give the explanation of this. Everybody. Complete drawing this diagram, everybody. And once again, I repeat, all the students who have joined my class, go to Google Classroom. There I have posted an assignment that includes your attendance for today's lecture. So once you open the assignment, you will find there is a small box beside your name. You have to click on that, okay, and click on submit, and then your attendance will be recorded. Do that stuff now and draw this diagram first. Is it visible to all students? The diagram is visible to all. Can you see this? Can you see the
yes,
diagram?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, complete it. Complete it. Over. Have you completed drawing? Finished? Shall I start with the explanation? Just respond if you have completed. Yes, students, have you done?
Done, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Done? Everybody has completed? Okay. So I'm starting with the explanation. Please follow this. Okay. Now, you can see here, there are many sectors involved in this four sector economy model. And we say this four sector in circular flow of national income, it is based on open economy. I will write the same on the chat box. And seeing that, you can tell me what you mean by open economy. There are two types of economies. When we learn, for example, when we learn about circular flow of national income, we come across two types of economies. So one will be an open economy and the second one will be a closed economy. So here, when I am talking about the four sector model, it is based on open economy. I will write the same on the chat box and you are going to reply me what do you mean by open economy. Can you tell me what is meant by open economy? What do you understand by open economy? Rutuja, can you answer? Rutuja Parab. What is the meaning of open economy? Students, please put your videos on. Anyone? Sakshi Suvarna? What is meant by open economy? You can post your answers over there also. Anyone? Kawalpreet? Bindra? What is an open economy? Okay, Shreyas has answered, other countries are open for trade. Sheetal Yadav has answered worldwide. Disha has answered worldwide economy. Okay, I would like to tell you the same. An open economy means it is an economy which is open for trade. Okay, open to the entire world for trade. That is, you can see I have written there, it is open to the entire world for trade. That we mean by open economy. And what is a closed economy? Closed economy is nothing, but it is exactly the opposite. Closed economy means where the economy is not at all open to the entire world. Okay, it is closed for exports, it is closed for imports. Okay, so when we talk about the circular flow of in a four sector model, there will be an open economy which is open to the entire world, open for trade to the entire world, right? And here we can see there are many sectors involved. Like previously we have seen, we started with households and okay, in a two sector model, and then we have seen that with savings, two sector model with savings, where we could see that households and firms, they utilize the financial market. And then again in the three sector model previously we have seen that the government was involved. Okay, so there were three sectors. Now we can see that everybody is involved in a four sector model. We have households at the top, then at the bottom we could see the business firms, right? In the middle we can, government is there. Then on one side we can, is there. Okay, and on the other side we can see world economy. Now world economy means here, that is the next sector we are involving. World economy means we are involving the export sector as well as we are involving the import sector. Okay, so here in four sector model everybody is involved, and you can see all these sectors, like we are talking over here, households, firms, financial sector, government, world economy, export and import sector, everybody, all these sectors, they are interconnected to each other, they are interrelated to each other. Okay, if one sector will fail with regards to its functioning part, then we will lose the equilibrium. So if we want that there should be smooth functioning, okay, there should be smooth functioning of of the all the sectors or of the entire economy, then what we have to do or what we have to expect, we have to expect that households, firms, government, financial market and world economy, all these sectors, okay, should work properly, they should function properly, then only the economy will be in equilibrium. And to have the economy in equilibrium, we need few things. We need certain things like our savings have to be equal to the investment. Okay. Then government to the government we pay what? We pay the taxes. And government collects the taxes. That becomes what? That becomes the revenue for the government. And the same amount, okay, it is spent by the government on the citizens, on the general public. Like that time it becomes what? It becomes the expenditure for the government. Okay, whatever taxes we pay, okay, as I said in the earlier lecture, that rich people are taxed more because their income is more. So richer section will pay the taxes to the government will collect it, and then the same amount which government has collected, it will be spent on the poorer section by giving them the subsidies, by giving them the concessions. So this is called as progressive system of taxation. We have discussed this point in the earlier lecture. So when the government receives taxes, that time it becomes revenue, that time it becomes income for the government. And the same income, when government spends on us, that time it becomes what? That time it becomes the expenditure for the government. Okay. So first, what all things we need to have in equality is, first, savings have to be equal to investment. Then government revenue has to be equal to the government's expenditure. Then we need that imports, our imports have to be equal to exports. Now I will tell you the difference. As I was discussing with you guys the balance of payments part. Now when I talk about balance of payments, obviously there has to be the inclusion of imports as well as exports. Now exports, when we export, when a country exports, okay, what does it get? It gets the income. Export leads to income. Okay, it leads to revenue for the country. But when you are importing, okay, you have to pay. When you import, you have to pay. You have to bear the expenses. So that time it becomes what? That time it becomes the expenditure. That time it becomes the country's expenditure. So when imports will be equal to exports, then that is when your expenditure will be equal. Country's expenditure will be equal to the revenue. Then we can say that trade or balance of payments will be in equilibrium. Okay, so here we need few things. That is, savings have to be equal to investment, as I said. And the secondly, we need government expenditure has to be equal to government's revenue. And thirdly, we need imports have to be equal to exports. I will write the same on the chat box. You can please note it down. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes? Okay. Now, just look into this. Savings equal to investment means what? S equal to I. S represents savings and I represents what? I represents investment, right? Then second we have is the government's revenue has to be equal to government's expenditure. That is G equal to T. Okay, G represents government and T, you can make a note, T will represent taxes. So taxes is what? Taxes is a part of revenue. Revenue for whom? Revenue for the government. Taxes will be included under what? Taxes will be included under government's revenue. So G equal to T. Then next we have is exports equal to imports. Exports is denoted as X and imports will be denoted as M. Right? Okay. So these three things, when we find them in equality, then only our economy will be in equilibrium position. Okay. And there are certain injections and there are certain leakages. Like we have leakages like savings, we have leakages like imports, all these things, and injections like public expenditure, exports, and so on. So this is about your circular flow of national income in a four sector model. Did you understand this? And if all these things are in equilibrium, then only we can say that our economy will achieve that equilibrium position. Okay, all these sectors, they have to be interconnected to each other in this four sector economy model. Okay, did you understand this, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Boys, have you understood? Okay. As I repeat once
Yes, ma'am.
again, yeah, go to your Google Classroom. Those who have not done the process, go to your Google Classroom. I can see 52 people, 51, 52 people are present. So those who have not done the process, go to your Google Classroom, and I have posted the assignment for attendance. Go to my class, SYBAF Economics. So in that assignment, you will find small boxes. Please mark yourself present there and click on submit. Okay, otherwise your attendance won't be recorded. Please do it, those who have not done it, right? Okay, you have understood, right? So I'm going to the next topic. Then it is about importance of circular flow. Okay, students, can you see the slide? Can you see
Yes,
my
ma'am.
PPT? Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everybody can see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So then I'm starting
Yes,
with,
ma'am.
fine. Then I'm starting with importance of circular flow of national income. Okay. Now, what is the why it is important to us? Why we need to study this circular flow of national income? Okay. Why it is needed? Why it is beneficial? Right. So first, it shows what? It shows the smooth functioning of the economy. Means what? Like for example, when our economy has to perform well, okay, and we do not expect any disturbances into that. Okay, when our economy will show us that it is functioning properly, it is functioning very smoothly, then obviously we will not expect any disturbance. We will not expect that there will be any disequilibrium. We will expect obviously that the economy will be in equilibrium. Okay, so when our economy functions, right, when our economy, our nation, everything like everything is in equilibrium, and there are no chances now and in the future, there are no chances of disequilibrium, there are no chances of deficits, right? And like there are no random fluctuations with regards to employment, with regards to output, with regards to, you know, consumption, with regards to savings, investment. Fluctuations are avoided. There is no deficit in the economy. Okay, there is no disequilibrium in the economy. So everything is going on smoothly. Economy is functioning very, very smoothly. So for this purpose, like, you know, we can see a clear cut picture of this. Okay, so for this purpose we need to have an understanding better. It will help us in a better way. We need to have an understanding of this circular flow of national income. So for the smooth functioning, for the smooth working of the economy, okay, this circular flow of national income is required, right? Then the second point is it helps us to know about the problem of disequilibrium. As I told you, obviously when I say that economy is working smoothly, so no disequilibriums are expected into that, right? So, and why it is happening? Suppose if there is a deficit, okay, so we have to find out the reason that why this deficit is happening. Because you can see when your imports are more, I will give you an example, just listen to it carefully. When your imports are more, when a country's imports are more than exports, okay, then what will happen? Now, for imports, what the country has to do? For imports, the country has to pay, okay, and from the exports, what you get? The country gets income, revenue. So when you have to pay more as compared what you are getting as income, your payments are becoming more than your income, okay, then what will happen? Obviously you will result into a deficit, you will result into a loss. Okay, so when you are imports are to pay, that is your expenditure, and from exports you get income. So when your expenditure is more than your income, then there will be a deficit. Okay, and this deficit will be one of the reasons to bring disequilibrium in the nation, in the country, okay, or in the balance of payments. So when we understand about circular flow of income, we have to understand about disequilibrium, and we have to find out why this disequilibrium, why this deficit is happening. What are the causes for it? Okay, so for this, then next is it helps to find out the leakages in the circular flow. Now, what are the leakages? I told you leakages are basically your savings. Then you have the taxes which we pay. Both the richer section and the poorer section pays to the government, but comparatively, richer section will have to pay more taxes to the government. Okay, and your imports will also be a leakage, which will have all these things: savings, imports, taxes. These three are the leakages in the circular flow. These three things will have effects. Okay, they will affect our income, our national income, and they will affect our national expenditure as well. So for this also we need to have an understanding of this circular flow. Then the fourth point is it highlights the importance of monetary and fiscal policies. Okay, monetary policy is implemented by RBI. It is implemented by the Reserve Bank of India, and like we can see many times, RBI brings changes in our interest. Sometimes it is increased, sometimes it is lowered. Then it changes the CRR rates, cash reserves ratio. It changes the SLR rates, open market operations. Okay, all these things. Statutory liquidity ratio, SLR is statutory liquidity ratio. It brings changes into repo rates, reverse repo rates, all these things. So all these instruments, or I can say all these policies bringing changes into this, it is called as monetary policy, which is implemented, established by our central bank, that is RBI, Reserve Bank of India. And fiscal policy is nothing. Fiscal policy is implemented by government. Fiscal policy means what? Government, suppose government needs more money, government needs more income. So the best way for the government is to do what? It will increase our taxes. And when we pay more taxes, there will be more revenue for the government. That is called as what? That is called as fiscal policy. Okay, so fiscal policy is implemented by government. So importances of these policies, importances of fiscal and monetary policies, and how it affects our national income and national expenditure, we can have an understanding of this. And for this purpose also, circular flow of national income is needed. We have to understand the circular flow of national income. I hope you understood this. Did you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand? Please
Yes.
respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Importance of
Yes, ma'am.
flow is clear.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. I will write the. I will write. Okay. I will write what is fiscal policy means. What do you exactly mean by fiscal policy? The definition, and monetary policy. What all things are included on the chat box? I will write. So please note it down. Okay, you can see monetary policies implemented by RBI, which includes bringing changes into policies like CRR, SLR, OMO, repo and reverse repo rates, as well as interest rates. And fiscal policies implemented by the government, which means raising the government revenue by increasing the taxes. Just note it down. Okay. Anyone, any difficulty did you find? Do you want to ask me anything? You can post your queries in the chat box, I will reply. Or you can unmute yourself and ask me the question one by one. So here we come to an end with regards to our second chapter, and you go ahead with your notes preparation. Okay, I am posting your materials, PPTs, questions on Google Classroom. So keep a track over there and stay updated. You have to stay updated. And all please complete the attendance process. Go to Google Classroom, mark yourself present. Click on that box and mark yourself present. I can see 52 people are there over here. What is CRR, SLR, OMO? Okay. Shreyas, right. CRR is cash reserves ratio, SLR is statutory liquidity ratio, and OMO is open market operation. Okay, they all are monetary policies. Basically, in CRR, what we have, like with when our commercial banks, okay, they have to keep certain proportion of their reserves as cash, okay, along with reserve bank. That is called as CRR. SLR is also with regards to the net discount and time liabilities. SLR is called as statutory liquidity ratio, and SLR is mentioned with regards to the discount and time liabilities. And OMO is open market operations. Okay, open market operations. It is also a monetary policy. Now, in open market operations, what we do here, we see with regards to the Reserve Bank, RBI, bonds and securities which are there. Okay, bonds and securities, they are purchased and sold in the open market. Okay, bonds and securities, government bonds and open market. That is called as an OMO. I hope I am clear. Okay, okay. Anyone, any other question? Do you have any other doubt? You can unmute yourself and ask, or you can post your queries, questions in the chat box. I will reply. Anything to ask? Nobody? Have you understood both these concepts? Circular flow in four sector economy model, as well as the importance of circular flow of national income.
Yes.
Did you understand, everyone? Okay, okay,
Yes.
fine. Right? So, you keep a track, stay tuned with regards to your Google Classroom and whatever your teachers are telling, and go ahead with your notes preparations. Okay, you can already find the questions over there, right? Okay, and complete the formality for attendance. Okay, so we will meet again tomorrow around 11 o'clock. We have a lecture again.
Audrilla ma'am, just a minute, Audrilla
And
ma'am.
please, all the students, those who haven't submitted the, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yeah, one request to all the students. Please put your names in the chat box. I am also recording the attendance at my end. Okay? Audrilla ma'am is doing through the Google class. I am going to see the attendance through the chat box that you are putting in your names. So whoever is present, I suppose 2 to 3 students have left the class. Okay, so whoever is present, please put your names in the chat box. All of